Today I'm going to be talking about Facebook Insights and how you can use them to actually get more comments and likes on your Facebook posts, ensure that more of your fan base actually see your posts, and that in turn is going to increase the number of fans that your page has. Now, interestingly, only about 16% of a page's fans actually get to see posts. So to get your posts in front of them, you really need to have a lot of engagement. And in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Facebook identifies what it's going to show to its fan base. Now, what we can also do with Facebook Insights is make sure that our content is reaching the right target audience, and that that target audience are the people we want to be commenting and liking on it. If the relevant people aren't interested in and engaged, you're not producing the right content, and you're going to have to relook at your strategy for that. Another thing with Insights is it's really important to identify what works well and what works less well. And things that you can look at and start to test are, is it photos that work better than links? Do videos work better than text only? What are you getting the most comments and likes on? And for example, does the frequency of posts actually have an impact? So we're going to go on and talk a little bit about what Edgerank is. Edgerank is the formula that Facebook uses to identify what page posts should be delivered in the newsfeed to fans. And they take three things into account: affinity, weight, and time decay. Now, no one knows exactly what this formula is, because, you know, Facebook are a secretive little lot. But what we have identified is that the affinity score is how relevant the post is to the user and the relationship they have between the user and the fan page administrator. Also, each of those posts are weighted. Now, the more a post is commented and liked upon and shared, the greater weight Facebook will give it. It's commonly thought that the best type of activity on your post is sharing, followed by commenting and liking. And obviously, commenting gets more Facebook love, as it were, because it does take a bit more effort. So looking at when you are Insights, it's really important to identify what type of posts get you the best results. And then finally, it's time decay. The older the post, the less relevant it's regarded, and the less weight that Facebook will give it. So when we come to Insights, when you are a page administrator, you can access the full overview. And they've made it really easy now. They popped it right at the top of your page so you can't miss it. And looking at this overview, you can see there we have at the top the total likes. And a lot of people get hung up on likes. But likes in itself is not an indicator that your Facebook page is a success. It has to be taken in relation to other metrics, such as the people talking about and the reach that you see next to them. Now, a really interesting point is the friends of fans. See, that's a massive number there. We've got over 100,000, which looks very exciting. Now, what that indicates is if every fan of your fan page made a comment or liked your thing, that's how many people would see your post. So as you can see, it's like the potential marketplace for your post if you had 100% engagement from all your fans. So breaking this down a little bit further, as I said before, like is only a small part of identifying the success of your Facebook page. It has to be used in conjunction with other metrics. The ones you really want to be looking at are reach and the talking about this score. So looking at this part of the page here, you have the date, which shows you the date that piece of content was posted. Then we have a small excerpt of the post. Now, if you click on those blue highlighted text, that will actually show you the whole post. Reach, this is the number of unique people who've seen your post. Engaged users is the number of people who have clicked on your post. And this includes clicks on links, clicks on people's names, the timestamp, or the number of likes and clicks on the share link. Now, when somebody shares a link, it creates a story on their own timeline. Then we have the talking about score. Now, this is really interesting. This shows us how many people have created what they call a story from our post. Now, a story is created when someone likes, comments, or shares your post, answers a question you've posted, or responds to an event you've created. Then finally, we've got the virality. The percentage of people who have created a story from your post out of the total number of unique people who've seen it. So look at these a little bit more closely. When you hover over the numbers in that previous diagram that I showed you, you will get little icons like this pop up, which give you a lot more information. So on every reach score, it's broken down into the total reach by organic, paid, and viral sharing. Now, organic is the number of people that have seen it, and they've done it through liking and commenting. Paid is obviously if a post has been promoted, and then viral is where it spreads further after that. And then each engagement score is broken down. So you have 78 engaged users here, and you can see a quick pie chart of how that breaks down into photo, views, other clicks, and story generated. Now, the most interesting thing that has started quite recently is you get to see how much negative feedback each post gets. Now, this negative feedback can be somebody hiding your story or somebody unliking your page. And it can be really easy to get a little bit worked up about the negative feedback, but it's really important to take it in context. I, for example, had one where my negative feedback came from 5 people. Now, for me, that was quite a high number. So I started looking at the post and analyzing it. But what I didn't take into account, and I should have, is that I had promoted that post and the level of engaged users was substantially higher. So unsurprisingly, my negative feedback was higher too. It wasn't an indication that the post wasn't good. It was a larger audience, therefore, unsurprisingly, a larger number of negative feedbacks. Then finally, we've got the talking about score. This is what we were saying about Edgerank. How many likes, shares, and comments it has. More often than not, you will get more likes than any other interaction because it's easy. But if you can engender your fans to make comments, it will be more valuable to you. This is why it's so important to include calls to action on your posts. So asking questions, asking people to fill in the gaps, asking people's opinion of things will all start to generate those comments for you. Now, you may have a lot of engagement on your Facebook page, but are you reaching the right audience? You will see several charts about demographics, and the two I find quite the most useful are the people who've liked my page. Now, this is a cut from my Plums Lingerie page. Unsurprisingly, substantially higher number of women like it than men, and target age range between 21 and 44 is looking right. And we are a UK-based company, so getting the most likes from the United Kingdom is ideal for us. Once you have your fans, it's always interesting to know what activity that you're doing is working for you. So this chart gives you all the areas that your fans have clicked the like button from. As you can see, these are all on Facebook results. On hover means that somebody has seen one of your stories, hovered over the story, and been offered the opportunity to like your page. If you're getting a lot of on hovers, it means that your content is being shared on people's news feeds and their friends are seeing it and acting upon it. On page means that your fan has found your Facebook page, had a look through your timeline, liked it there. Facebook recommendations, this is done on your newsfeed. You'll see it that your friend has liked a page and it is recommended that you will like it too. Ads and sponsored stories, if you do decide to pay to promote posts or advertise your page or events, that will show you how many clicks you're getting from that. Timeline, how many people see the timeline. Interestingly, how many people click on it from a mobile. And then finally, click on like boxes and buttons elsewhere. By identifying where fans find you, you can optimize your content accordingly. If you're finding most of it on hover, it's showing that your posts are appealing and attractive enough. And even if you do this identify on a month-by-month basis, it will give you an indication of how successful your posts are. As well as the internal posts, you have external. So as you can see, unsurprisingly, one of my key referrers is my own website. This is not surprising. It means that your website is properly optimized to encourage people to go from Facebook. The idea is that you make it as easy as possible for anyone who comes across you online to engage with you. This means making sure that you have Facebook icons, widgets, and buttons all embedded in your site. Next to it, we have the sort of activity that's happening on your page. Majority of people come onto your page, will check out your timeline, and not do a lot else. You have applications available on your site, but since the redesign that rolled out in March this year, definitely seen a drop in activity on them. To make sure that you do get as much activity as possible on them, I do bespoke app covers for them, make sure the descriptions are nice and clear, try and make them look as interesting as possible to ensure that they click on them to utilize them. Now, when we're looking at this talk called talking about, it's really important. If you are not being talked about and you're not being engaged with, you will not show up in your fans' news feeds. If you are not showing up in your fans' news feeds, your Edgerank score will go down. If you want to have a quick look and find out a little bit more about what your Edgerank score is, you can check out a website called edgerankchecker.com, and that will give you an indication. It is only an indication, though. It is a third-party site, so it doesn't have full access to everything. But if your Edgerank score goes down that much, what will happen is you will end up talking to yourself and you will find it increasingly difficult to get your content out there. So when we're looking at your talking about score here, you can actually split it down into page likes, stories from your posts, mentions, photo tags, post by others, and questions. Here you can see that the viral reach is the same for me as all stories, and this is because I have not paid for any advertising during this period of time. if you actually start to pay for advertising, you will see your reach go up substantially higher. But it is dependent on whether or not that marketing spend is worth it for you. If you are not driving sales from your Facebook page, if you are not promoting specific offers, advertising a Facebook page for the sake of advertising a Facebook page, it's got limited value. If your content's that good, you're going to be able to get to the right audience because they will like it, share it, and comment on it. So how does this talking about metric come about? Now, these are the items that actually contribute to that score. If you like a page or you post to a page wall, as part of the setup, you can choose whether you allow fans to post directly to your wall. I always recommend that you do because you really want to encourage engagement. And if you shut that option down, you're basically saying to them, I'm sorry, this is just a broadcast network, we want full control, and we're really not that interested in hearing from you, which isn't really the message you want to be getting across. Obviously, liking, commenting on, or sharing a page post, or any of that other content, answering a question posted. With the polls on Facebook, I find them of limited success unless you actually go in, answer it yourself, and then invite your friends to answer it. Because what it doesn't do, it will not show up in people's news feeds unless they have answered the poll. It's a bit of an anomaly. I have no idea why. I have asked some of my Facebook expert friends, and there is no rhyme or reason for it. However, it does mean that polls have, and votes and questions have less of a value than they could have. If anybody RSVPs to an event that you've set up, if anyone mentions your page in a post. Now, if you want to mention a page in the post, all you need to do is use the @ sign first. As part of building relationships on Facebook, it's a really nice gesture to @tag other people's pages because they're going to get a bit of Edgerank love for that. You also appear on their timeline, which helps you. Also, photo tagging a page, liking and sharing a check-in deal. I haven't really seen any of these in the UK yet. I've seen a few in the US. That if your page is set up like a place, you can do check-in deals on it. So check in 5 times and you get 10% off your bill, for example. As you can see below, checking in at a place, you have to have your page merged with your place setting. Now, I've seen today on my page that they're starting to push that. They're starting to identify that there are duplicate pages and going to page owners asking them if they own the place as well. So that's going to really help. If you have a bar or restaurant or somewhere with a physical location, I would say it's essential to make sure that you have your place merged in with your page. Now, it can be a little bit disconcerting when you've only got a few fans on your page. You look at the competition and you see these massive companies with thousands and thousands and thousands of likes, huge talking about numbers, and it's difficult to gauge how you're doing in comparison. Now, a cheeky little way you can do this, because everybody's page has their likes showing and they're talking about score showing, is working out a percentage. You basically take your talking about score, divide it by the likes, and times it by 100 to come up with a percentage. Now, as you can see here, we've got Victoria's Secret, which has nearly 19 million likes. Obviously, lots of people like Victoria's Secret. Not surprisingly, they do lots of adverts with half-naked women. I would be quite interested to see their demographic, to see if it's similar to mine or whether there's more men on it. But when you break it down and work out the percentage, they have only a 1% talking about score. Honey's Lingerie Boutique, which is a similar boutique to mine, only has £507, but their talking about score is 1% higher than mine. A good talking about score is between 1 and 5%. If you're getting over 5%, you have a fantastic engagement score going on. You're doing super well. So that's a very quick look at Facebook Insights. There is so much more in there, and frankly, you could write a book about it. But if you try and overanalyze, you'll just get caught up counting numbers. I would recommend you identify the key metrics you want to look for, follow, and engagement score and reach, I say, would be your key to keep an eye on, because you want to make sure what's working, what's not. By keeping track of those scores, you will be able to identify what type of posts are working better for you, because sometimes there is no rhyme and reason. I have had posts that have gone from having, my average post gets a few comments and a few likes. I've had one that went from a couple of comments, a couple of likes to over 164 shares, over 200 likes, and I have no idea why. So this is why we need to keep tracking, keep experimenting with what we do. A key thing for us to remember is continual testing and learning of everything. That is the only way you're going to learn what's going to work for your page. So hopefully you found this interesting. If you want to find out a little bit more about me, you can look me up. My name is Catherine Salt. You can find me at Catherine Salt or Catherine@marketingmy.co.uk, or you can check out my website, which is marketingmy.co.uk. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/marketingmy, or on Twitter at twitter.com/marketmy. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed it.